Welcome to Highly Sensitive Healing. I'm Lauren LaSalle, a former therapist, a highly sensitive person, and a mentor for HSPs. For too long, I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt everything deeply, sounds, emotions, other people's moods, and I learned pretty early on just to push through, to quiet my intuition, and to try to keep up with what everyone else was doing and what society expected of me. But the truth is, my sensitivity was never the problem. I just didn't have the language, support, or tools to understand it. This podcast was created for highly sensitive people who are tired of trying to toughen up or fix themselves and are ready to heal in a way that honors how they're wired. Here, we talk about nervous system regulation, unhelpful thought patterns, emotional overwhelm, and self-trust through a gentle, compassionate lens. You don't need to become someone new to feel better. You don't need to push harder or try more. You get to learn how to care for yourself in ways that actually work for you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, misunderstood, or like you were carrying too much, this space is for you. My hope is that each episode helps you feel a little less alone and a little more at home in yourself. So, wherever you're listening from, welcome. Take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. Hello, everybody. Today's episode was inspired by our meeting of The Gathering yesterday. The Gathering, in case you don't know, is an offshoot of my HSP community, and it's a small group of us that meet once a month for an hour and talk about whatever comes up for us. Usually it's related to HSP stuff, of course, because who else can you talk about that stuff with? And yesterday, one of the members brought up one of my more recent episodes and was asking me questions about how did you get to uncover the real you, and how did you get to that point, and how did you get to the point where you're not holding on to feelings that aren't helping you, feelings of anger or resentment. How did you get to the point where you just don't really care what other people think? How did you get to the point where you can just do what works for you without worrying about other people's reactions and responses to that? And so I was like, yes, I have to. This is great stuff. We had such an amazing conversation, by the way, yesterday. It was really fun. It was only 3 of us there this time. And I feel like every month our conversations get better and better and get deeper. And it was funny because we actually were talking about things that I am going to be talking about in the Becoming Circle, which is my upcoming very small intimate group program. And we will be talking about things like this, like how do you get from point A to point B? What needs to be done? We're going to look at what you need as an HSP and rewriting the beliefs that we have ingrained in us, that we have been taught for our whole lives. We might not even know that they're there. They're because they're subconscious a lot of the time. And when we bring them to the conscious, that's when we can make changes in the patterns and get to the place where we want to be, because we have those subconscious beliefs and these patterns that we do because at one point they kept us safe, and our brain wants to keep us safe all the time. And so it thinks we have to keep doing this in order to stay safe. But the problem with that is that it no longer keeps us safe. We don't need to do that anymore. It just now gets in our way and holds us back. And so those are the things we'll be looking at in the Becoming Circle, and looking at how do we get to be the version of ourselves that we want to be, that's on the inside. How do we peel back the layers of social conditioning and beliefs that probably don't even really belong to us and never originated from us in the first place? And how do we peel back all those layers to get to the core of who we really are. And I'm so, so excited about the Becoming Circle because I feel like yesterday in the gathering, it was sort of like a mini preview, like a little like sort of practice for me to start getting into those things and talk about them with people who were really genuinely interested in learning more about that. And so if you are at all interested in joining the community or the gathering or the Becoming Circle, the community is ongoing. So that's you can join at any time. The Becoming Circle is our first meeting is on August 8th, and then it goes through October. We will be meeting twice a month at 12 p.m. Eastern time on a Saturday. And I know that might not be an ideal time for everybody. However, I feel like weekends are generally easier for people. They're more available. And so if this is something you're at all interested in, making the time available for you, it's only a total of 6 hours that we are meeting live that you need to be available. And I think that's a really small time investment to be made for the results that you are going to get from this program. I am so confident in this program and how it is going to impact people and change their lives. And so the waitlist is now open. I will put the links to the Becoming Circle waitlist and to the community. And I feel like I've been talking about these things a lot, but that's because I'm so passionate about these programs and communities and bringing HSPs together because it really does make such a difference. And I just want to be able to help people the way that I have helped myself, but have it be faster and easier for them because they will have not only my support, but the support of a community of HSPs. So anyway, now I promise I will really get into the episode. And how I got, I guess, on that little tangent was because I was saying that the people in my community in the gathering yesterday in our meeting were asking these questions and wanting to know, like, how did I do this? What did I do to get to these places where they would like to be? And so today I want to talk about what I shared with them yesterday about how do you start to just not care about what other people think and just do you. Because I feel like I'm really at that point now, and I have been for a little while, where I don't even really worry about what other people are going to say or do or whatever. I mean, obviously my husband's input matters because he's my husband, but um he's very understanding and respectful of me and my needs, and that I need to do things differently than other people. And so that's really mostly not an issue, which is, I feel very lucky. But anyway, so I know that a lot of HSPs, if not like all of us, and this was me as well for so much of my life, we really deeply care what other people think. We really deeply care about how they feel, and we don't want to hurt their feelings, and we don't want to cause conflict. And so a lot of the time we keep ourselves held back, and we don't do what we want to do or what we need because we want to avoid the conflicts. We want to avoid them not being disappointed or upset or just not understanding. I think it's a lot of the time we don't feel like we have the energy or maybe even the words or the capability to really explain to somebody else who's not highly sensitive why we need certain things or need to do things in a certain way or a different way. And so there are so many reasons why we just will sometimes not set boundaries, not hold boundaries, not go for something that we really want because we're worried. And so I've finally been able to, most of the time, obviously this is not perfect all of the time because I am a human, but to get to the point where I know what I want and I know what I need and I'm able to do that for myself without worrying. And I think part of how I got there is asking myself, like, what do I want? What do I need? If there was nobody else around and I could do whatever I wanted or needed, what would that be? If there was a guaranteed no bad reaction, like quote unquote bad, like negative reaction from anybody around, what would I do? Or what would I change? What do I feel pulled toward that I'm not going for because I'm scared of other people's opinions? And I have a couple examples of things that I've changed in the past and I've worked on to get to this point, because it can be so overwhelming to change, right, and heal, because I feel like so much of the time we're here as this person that we currently are right now, and we want to get to this other place, and it feels really overwhelming. Like I don't even know what to do, and so we're sort of paralyzed and we just don't do anything. And what helps so much with all of this, any change you want to make, is start with one small thing. And it can be like the smallest, most minute thing. And if that changes, it will make a difference. And if that changes, then you'll say, oh, I did it. Like, this is a goal. I completed this one little piece of a goal. And then you add on and you keep going. And all of these little changes over time add up to get, like, that's what happened to me. All of these little tiny things added up. And now I'm here. And I'm so glad I am. So this was maybe like 13 years ago or so now, but was when I tackled feeling okay about laughing a lot. And here I go. This might sound silly, but here, I'll tell you what happened. So for, so much of my life, people always commented on the fact that I laugh a lot, which feels weird to me, honestly, because yes, I find the joy and the humor in things. Like, I don't know why that needs to be commented upon, but it was. And I started feeling self-conscious about that. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Yeah, I laugh a lot. And I'm glad I do, because I spent like 6 years severely depressed and anxious. And I would so much rather be finding joy in things and laughing and expressing that joy than being back in that horribly, horribly dark place, just feeling miserable all of the time. So I came to terms with that. And that is what I mean by like the smallest example, the smallest little thing. Because at the time, yeah, it changed maybe just that, but I felt a little bit freer. Like, I'm going to laugh because I want to, and I feel like I need to express this, and that's okay. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Another example is being so quiet for all of my life. And I feel like a lot of you are going to be able to relate to this one, especially if you're an introvert. And everybody commented on me being so quiet. You're so quiet. Yes, I am. Okay, like, I don't get why you're telling me this. Is it because you want me to talk more? Because I'm just a naturally quiet, observant person. And it was around the same time as the laughing, I think. I was like, yep, I'm a quiet person and I can just sit here and observe and still be a part of things, just silently. Like, I can still engage with conversations and with people and just be like responding, like with my body movements and like facial expressions and like laughing and whatever. I can still do that. I don't have to talk all the time to be a part of a conversation. And so when I was able to come to terms with that, then it just felt so much more comfortable for me to be in a situation where I was quiet and other people were talking, and I didn't feel self-conscious about it, or like I even necessarily needed to try to come up with something to add to the conversation. And that actually really helped with my social anxiety. Because then I was like, well, this is just how I feel comfortable. And so that's what's going to happen. So start with small things. And those are just some examples that I have from my life. And maybe you have those too, or maybe you have different ones that you can try to think of. If you want to shoot me a DM on Instagram or an email, I'd be happy to try to like talk to you a little bit and figure out where you can tackle this. If you join the Becoming Circle, I can definitely help you tackle this.
But anyway, I think that's all I have to share for today because I have maybe a couple sort of on the shorter side episodes of very specific things that you can do to help yourself and improve your life and get you where you want to be. And that is all I have to share on this for today. And I hope it was so helpful. If you know somebody who could use this episode, please send it to them. And I guess I'm just going to wrap it up now. I will see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to Highly Sensitive Healing. You can help support the podcast by taking a minute to rate and review it, share your favorite episode with a friend, or become a subscriber on Patreon. Visit laurenlasalle.com for information about my mentorship programs, join my email list to stay up to date with how I can support you, as well as exclusive email list perks, and connect with me on Instagram at I am Lauren LaSalle. Happy healing.